So there's a couple of things here because it's a complex thing, right? So the first thing is that psychological thing that you're speaking about is called the spotlight effect. When you wake up in the morning and you look at a news headline or Eskom Push is telling you that we're going into load shedding stage, 11, whatever it is. When you see that and it upsets you, the spotlight effect makes you concentrate on that headline that much more. And then what your brain does is it starts to block out everything in the peripheral. So you don't even see the other headlines. You don't see the good news. You don't see the good news story that your, Auntie Mariki put on the WhatsApp group that happened in the family. You don't see that because this is all you can concentrate on. That thing then starts to consume you. It starts to become your biggest worry. So you're going, load shedding. It's affecting everything. My job, my life, we got to move. It starts to play on your mind and you start to then make decisions in that state of mind. So that's the first sort of problem that we have. I'm going somewhere with this.
I love this.
When we are as a nation or even as an individual, when you are in this state of mind, it starts to impact your sentiment towards the country. And when your sentiment changes, you start to lose sight and you start to not believe in good news. You know, if you are on a Facebook page and you on that Facebook page all the time and you become a biggest fan, top fan, you get that badge. When the sentiment is bad and when someone is in that frame of mind, our top fans on Good Things Guy will call us out to be liars. They will tell us there's no way that story is true. That security guard picked up that pensioner's envelope of money and gave it back. No ways is that true. And we're going, it's true because it's real, because we interviewed them and the story's real. And if you read this story tomorrow in a different frame of mind, you'll believe it. So that's sort of like a breakdown of the sentiment of the country, right? And where we are. I see this from my side in the back end of the website. So we can physically see who's on the website and reading stories down to the second. It's addictive and a little bit obsessive. When people wake up in the morning and they switch on their phone to doom scroll through, Instagram or Twitter, I'm on the back end of my site because I want to know who's reading my stuff at 5:30 in the morning. Very interested by that. So when the news is bad, our readership goes down. People don't come to our site. It's the reality. But it takes one small thing in someone's day to turn that all around so you are able to remove yourself out of the spotlight effect and then start to look at good news again. News agencies have started to realize this. So in 2019, that's how many years ago? 5 years ago? 2019. Good Things Guy was 5 years old. 5 years old. I had one staff member. We were sort of every day trying to find, the number in my head for some reason was 6 stories per person. So it was me and another journo, and we were writing 12 stories a day, every day, 7 days a week. That was how we sort of pushed through. And in 2019, a funny thing started happening in mainstream media news in South Africa. They started using Good Things Guy as a source for their stories. So we applied to a thing called Newsclip, where we get notified whenever Good Things Guy is mentioned anywhere in the news in South Africa, whether it's print, radio, or TV broadcast. And our emails started pinging with different news sites around the country that were using our stories and sourcing it back to Good Things Guy. At first it was a few, so one every couple of days, and that started ramping up. Until, as you know, News 24 launched their Feel Good section in 2019. I write for them. We're not competitors. I believe there's enough sun for everybody, and I believe that South Africans require good news. They require that balance. So your question was, where do we find ourselves? Are people investing more time in good news? Mainstream media sees it. They're pushing towards it. As far as I understand, most of the news sites and newspapers are featuring good news now. And when it comes to are South Africans going out there looking for good news, I see it on the back end. I see it every single morning that people aren't even coming to our site via a social media page anymore, via a seeded article.
Yes, it's direct.
They're physically logging on at 5:30 in the morning. People are focusing and changing the way that they want to see the world when they wake up in the morning. And I know from what I do and the space that I'm in, how that can completely change your perspective of the world And I guess not even your sentiment, but your happiness level when you start to look at things in a different light. So yes, I believe that people are investing more time, energy, and effort into focusing on that good
I think that's one of your greatest contributions. I think there are many. But for whatever reason, you managed to get that inertia moving that then other people tapped into you. It's almost like a network effect for good news.
Absolutely.
And I've seen it in my own life that I can take stock of where my general mentality is by how much I'm moaning about little things throughout the day. And when I catch myself going, this country's going to the dogs, or this is, just the little inner voice in your head. And I'm like, it's because you've literally been focused on these things. And it's clear to me that what you look for is what you will find. But you have to be aware of how you ebb and flow through that. And I think social media obviously has played one of the greatest roles here because, right, if I read an article of yours and I really enjoy it, I can push it along. And you've gained this notoriety as Good Things Guy, and for good reason. But what I find so interesting is the ability or the journey to changing that. Because now it's easy to look back and go, oh, that's how it happened. Look at 2019, look at 2024. But when you look back and you think about the state of play, I watched News 24 and the like starting to feature those. I was like, they're not doing this for fun.
They're doing it because the country, A, needed it. As human beings, we require that balance. Imagine if we just fed our minds with one narrative of what this country is.
Yeah.
Every decision we would make would be in that fearful stage.
Yes.
So you require that balance to have a good perspective of the country. But then also I think the other news sites are going, hold on, this Oaks news site is growing at a rapid rate, and he only does good news. Unheard of. Like that it shouldn't work. But for some reason, right time, right place, right light, it did.